Hi, welcome to this episode of The Daily. My name is Brendan Malone. Well, the Nottinghamshire Police Force in the United Kingdom have now deemed wolf whistling to be a hate crime in their jurisdiction. That's right, wolf whistling. When a man whistles at a woman walking past, that is now considered a hate crime by the police in this jurisdiction. This is truly astounding. This is an unbelievable waste of police resources. I'm sure they have more important things to actually spend and police time, money and resources on than investigating some dodgy builder who whistles at a woman when she walks past and treating it like a crime. Secondly, and even more importantly, this is an excessive overreach of police powers of the state. This is if you want to know what a police state looks like, this is what a police state looks like. When you can be charged with a hate crime for wolf whistling, you are living in a police state. It really doesn't get much clearer than that. And yes, just in case you're wondering, they have actually already investigated at least one incident of the hate crime of wolf whistling. Listen to the description. This is an actual spokesperson from the Nottinghamshire Police describing what they consider a hate crime. A hate crime is simply any incident which may or may not be deemed as a criminal offence, which is perceived by the victim or any other person as being motivated by prejudice or hatred. Two glaring and very major problems there. Number one, a hate crime is simply any incident which may or may not be deemed as a criminal offence. Well, how can it be a crime if it's not a criminal offence? That's just an arbitrary imposition of someone's feelings onto someone else. That's not a just and equitable execution of the law. Rule of law isn't just about having a whole lot of laws. Rule of law is about a just and non-arbitrary execution of the law and a set of laws that aren't just arbitrary and unjust in the way they've been constructed. Secondly, which is perceived by the victim or any other person as being motivated by prejudice or hatred. So what you can have here, according to what this spokesperson has described, is you could have a situation in which the supposed victim of one of these supposed hate crimes could say, no, there was nothing in it. I thought it was a joke. Didn't think anything of it. And someone else could say, no, this is definitely a hate crime. I can feel the prejudice here. I can feel the hatred. This person's just deluded. They don't know they're being hated on. They don't know they're being prejudiced, but I can see it. So you should charge that person over there. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. You see, this is not how good law is supposed to work. The way the law is supposed to work is this, is you weigh up the various goods that you want to protect and uphold in your society, and you weigh them up against the various evils that you want to try and limit and reduce in your society, and then you make your laws accordingly. And you create laws that try and promote, uphold and protect those important goods, and you make laws which limit, reduce, and do their best to try and prevent those grave evils, those injustices that you clearly don't want to be part of your society because obviously they threaten human flourishing. And then in the process of making those laws to perhaps try and uphold good or prevent evil, you make sure that the law itself that you're making hasn't become a problem. It hasn't become excessive. It hasn't become an evil in its own right. So, for example, we might say in our society, and we recognise that pornography does great damage to marriages and families, and it does. We know that. And we might say, well, we want to do something about this, so let's make a law that says that any man who gets caught looking at pornography goes to jail. We're upholding the good of marriage and family. We're trying to prevent the evil that pornography does in this situation. Isn't that good? Well, no, it's not good, because in the process of making that law, you have created a situation where a very important good, stable marriage and family, is now jeopardised and put at harm by the very law which is supposed to protect that. By sending dad off to jail, how does his family earn money? How does that family remain stable and connected and build a strong personal family community which actually reduces crime and has other positive flow-on effects in the lives of the individuals and wider society? So that's how law is supposed to work. But that's not what this is. This is nothing more than an arbitrary imposition based on people's feelings, whether or not they had hurt feelings. And listen to this. If the victim feels that this has happened to them because they are a woman, then we will record it as a hate crime. If the victim feels. No standard of evidence required there. No due process. Just if they feel that this is because they're a woman, then we'll record it as a hate crime. The interesting thing is I looked through this article, I couldn't see any indication that this would happen if a man felt that this had happened to him because he's a man. This is truly unbelievable. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not, so in one sense they've created a bit of wriggle room for themselves, because they talk about the fact that even though there might not be a criminal offence committed, they are still going to treat these people like they are victims, which of course creates a bigger narrative within that society and that community, and it starts to sow this seed, this great deception that you are the victim of a crime just because someone wolf whistles at you. And the next step in this process is having that society say, well, look, they already treat it as a crime and they give victim support to these people, so that it should be a crime on the books and we should be doing something more serious about this. Because the next step in this process is having people say, hold on, this is a serious crime, it's going on here, the police acknowledge it's a crime, but the law doesn't reflect how serious this is. So you see where this all ends up going and how dangerous this actually is? Not only that, but this actually undermines efforts, I think, to promote greater equality between the sexes in society, because people start to get really angry about these kind of stupid and absurd and unjust impositions. The other thing that it does is it actually trivialises serious crimes such as sexual assault and rape, like actual sexual assault and rape. Those are vile and heinous crimes, and you trivialise them when you try and put wolf whistling and claim that they actually have a category of hate crime they call misogyny, and try and claim that that is on a par with something like sexual assault and rape. This is just insane. There's no other way to put this. This is insane and is extremely dangerous. And the thing I find probably most ironic about this is the fact that a lot of the people who I've seen supporting this are people who put themselves in the progressive camp. They're the exact same people who get upset and angry about the fact that the law won't allow them to smoke cannabis. Oh, you shouldn't be criminalised for having a joint. But you want someone criminalised for wolf whistling? Can you not see how that is completely arbitrary and there is no consistent application of principles going on there? This isn't justice. This is extremely dangerous. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily.